I'm actually here because I'm interested about financial aid and what it could offer me in the future, and basically how New York is right now. Any money, any penny really is necessary, needed.
This has been now up to our 5th year, so this is our 5th annual Financial Aid Awareness Day. And the purpose of it basically is to get students to file their FAFSA application. We're right now gearing for 2010, 2011, and we cover both incoming and returning students. And we're offering a number of stations to help them out. You have scholarship in case they're interested in scholarship information. We have a workshop station where there's assistance to fill out the worksheet. We also direct them to our web lab where someone will also be assisting them to file their FAFSA on the web lab. We have counselors if they have questions that they could speak one-on-one. We also have game station. They're answering financial aid questions, winning a prize. We have raffle baskets. So it's basically a fun day event to answer their general financial aid questions while offering something comfortable for them to be in an environment.
The process starts with the filing of a FAFSA application. That's the free application for federal student aid, and that's done online. We have here at BMCC, we have a web lab that's open 10 to 6 every day and extended hours during registration. And we've seen about 10,000 students this school year so far who've come through the lab. They can file on their own computers at home if they wish. And this application serves as the fundamental application, so the floor process. Students fill that out. It's not a Pell Grant application, it's an application for federal assistance. From there, when they finish that process, they link, in New York, they link to the TAP application.
It's very important for students to apply for financial aid at BMCC today because financial aid helps you to pay for your tuition. It's very helpful. You might not think you're qualified, but you will never know until you actually file the papers because they do help everyone. They know that today's economy is real bad, so they try to help everyone.
Our application volume this year is up about 15 or 20% over the last year. We have a very aggressive application process. As recently as last week, the week of February 15th, we sent 24,000 emails out to the student body telling them that reminding them actually that the process for the 10-11 school year is underway. And we will send additional emails. We will track each student's application. If they have aid this year and don't file for next year, we'll ask them why. If they have an application that's incomplete, we'll tell them why it's complete and also how to fix that. That goes out to them both as an email and as a letter. Moving forward, we hope to do more of this by email. So we are constantly following the students. The result of all of this, I think, has seen a dramatic increase in the number of students who have, for example, book money available in the beginning of the year.
The most important thing for students to remember when they're filing the FAFSA application is to basically complete all the questions, to enter the income information, to not miss out any information pertaining to their parents if they happen to be dependent, and to make sure to follow up after the application is complete. That's really the most important step.
After you submit the application, you need to check back with the school to make sure everything was processed or that the government's not asking for additional documentation, like to look at taxes or to make a copy of a passport or to verify someone's residency, things like that.
There's one standard of academic eligibility for all federal financial aid, and there is a separate standard of performance and academic eligibility for New York State aid. So aside from the process of meeting the economic criteria, and our website covers this, how do I get my aid and how do I keep my aid? And there's a whole section on our website about this. So getting it beyond the economic factors are enrolling, whether you're a full-time or part-time, because Pell Grants specifically is prorated based on enrollment. And in general, all other forms of federal financial aid grants, work study, whatever, require a student to be half-time. And other related factors. And keeping aid involves making satisfactory progress. There is a GPA standard which is graduated. It's just not one standard. So as a student begins, it's much lower, and they progress, the standards get much more rigorous. So it understands that kind of thing. And also issues of completing courses and maintaining courses that count towards their degree. The state process similarly has academic performance requirements enrolling for courses, completing courses, maintaining a GPA, and they become more aggressive as the student progresses in school.
A student finds out that they're eligible for financial aid a number of ways. They usually get an email through FAFSA, it shows on the BMCC Panther account, and they also get an award letter in the mail.
In terms of how long a student can receive a Pell Grant, and this is true for other grants as well and other federal financial aid, for the most part, a student can continue receiving it. There is no number of year limit on Pell Grant. A student can receive it so long as they remain an undergraduate student and they meet the economic criteria for the program. There's no restriction on receipt of Pell Grant if a student wanted to study abroad.
The basic advice that I would have for students is that it's not an overwhelming process. It's pretty easy. We're offering a lot of assistance within how to fill out your worksheet, how to do it online. Just that, follow up. That's really the most important. Make sure that everything that you've done, you've gone back and checked the status to make sure everything's complete, and to do it as early as possible, because the earlier that you do your FAFSA application, the more grants that you may be eligible for, because funds are limited.
We do encourage early filing, and we do have an April 15th early filing deadline. One of our concerns is that the other monies beyond Pell Grant, like supplemental grant, like the Perkins loan with a very low interest payment, like college work study and the like, these funds are discretionary at the institution, and they are based on an allocation we receive from the federal government. Since all of CUNY students are competing for those extra dollars beyond Pell Grant, students need to file early and completely and respond to any correspondence from us in a timely basis so that they have a chance for all of the funds that might be available.
It is easier for students who are residents here to get financial aid than international students, because some international students don't have social security numbers, so they're not eligible for a lot of federal or state grant programs, but they are eligible for scholarships and certain things like that they need to look into and inquire about.
Scholarships have always been popular. They fill in the gap where grants and loans do not. I do feel that now they're becoming more popular in regards to the 4-year. They are trying to pull in students that are completing their associate degrees, and that's one of the incentives that students look forward to, since it does help complete their 4-year education. And in addition, they're becoming more major specific, and students that are majoring in specific majors know that if they continue in a 4-year, that they have that type of scholarship to fall back on.
I chose to do work study program on campus because it helps me manage my schoolwork easier than actually working outside, because working outside I don't have that much time to sit down and actually read my notes or study for a test. Being as working on campus, the job is much lighter, and I have people that you could ask for help. There's resources on campus that I could help throughout getting with my homework, tests, or whatever that I need to be done. As outside is just survival of the fittest, so on campus is much easier.
I think it's important for students to know, and I think that increasingly they do know, that the financial aid process is not as onerous, as difficult as they might think. Clearly, with 28,000 students having filed applications so far this year, I guess students are getting the word. That's a pretty startling number for our school to have that many students have filed. About 23 or 24,000 have completed the entire process, given the fact that some students file who don't come here or file listing our school as well as other schools. We actually completed the overwhelming majority of those applications. So I think the word is out that it's available. The word that has to be out more than anything else is students need to file early. It's sort of like vote early and often. It's file early and often every year. The students have to know that it's a process that repeats itself every year they're in school. There are no carryovers. So each year the student has to file a new application for the upcoming school year.
I found the financial aid very helpful in every sense, that they were very attentive to me, they were really kind. They answered all my questions that needed to be answered, basically. So yeah, it was really cool about everything. Even the tough questions that I couldn't even figure out, they answered really well, and they were really polite. They were really there for me, so I was really happy with them.